This
Our North
conference
Country.
will now be recorded.
You didn't get home till 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah, three.
The time being 6 p.m., I'd like to welcome everybody to the Tilton Planning Board meeting for Tuesday, April 9th, 2024. And our first item on the agenda is a site plan review for Farmland Real Estate LLC. And they have requested that we continue that to May 21st, 2024. And we, I believe, decided that at the last meeting, so that will be continued. Our next is site plan review for Lockmere Golf Realty, 360 Laconia Road. It's Planning Board Case 23-04, map R21, lot 01, and it's amended site plan review. And what they would like to do is remove the existing gazebo and deck, and addition, put in a building expansion and an attached walk-in cooler, and an indoor golf simulator building, and a covered patio. It's a slight change to what they presented to us, I believe, last fall when we were at the police department. And so at this time, I believe we have, it's labeled Gale. If we could take a look at the documentation. I'll make a motion to bring the site plan approval to table for perusal and discussion. Is there a
Second.
second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
It seems to be in order.
fairly complete.
I forget what the motion is. I forget what the motion is I need to make.
Yeah, you are making one.
Huh?
Is this fairly complete? Okay. Appears to be fairly complete. I'll make a motion to accept the application as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? All right. Any comments on the planning board?
No, I'm just disorientated on the building, but I think I figured it out.
I think this is
Well, if you go like that, the street is
Yeah.
over here. But I saw here, Greenside sign.
Yeah, I was just out there, that's why.
I drove by it today, but that
Yeah.
was not thinking of this.
Okay. Fairly straightforward. I think it's outlined very well.
Very well. Very
Yeah.
well done.
Thank you for doing that. Makes it easier for us.
We try our best.
Right, I'm going to turn it over. I'll make the motion. Turn it over. Like the, you don't have to, Jerry. Would you like to make the presentation or?
If the board wishes, I can. For the record, my name is Scott Borsier. I'm with Gale Associates. I'm here on behalf of the owner, Gerald Charlie of Lockmere Country Club. Also with us is Donald Blodgett with, he's the architect of record with Cole. The proposed plan you have in front of you, as you've had noted and very much aware of, back in September of 2023, we were in front of the board asking for a site plan where the existing patio would be removed, the existing building would be expanded. Today, what we've decided to do, or the owners decided to do, is would like to replace what was originally proposed of a 1,200 square foot building increase to a 1,400 square foot building increase. The walk-in cooler would increase from 97 square feet to 102. But more importantly, what you see, the significant difference is that the originally proposed 700 square foot detached covered deck is now going to be attached, and that in size is going to be a 900 square foot or about 1,000 square foot indoor golf simulator and an attached 528 square foot covered patio. And so what we're looking to do is per the board's approval, receive approval from the board if that was the pleasure of the board.
Anybody have any questions? Any questions?
Just to be clear for the record, you just want to expand the footprint that you already have.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Catherine?
No, this information's all here.
Any information?
So
Anything?
just so, because I wasn't on the board in September, or if I was, I didn't make the meeting. Sorry. Oh, I think I might have been on vacation. Sorry. So, so you're taking the proposed covered deck and making that the indoor golf simulator part?
Do you have a copy of the previous application?
No, I don't. I just have this. So it says proposed covered deck. And then it says, so replace the 700 square foot detached covered deck with an attached 990 square foot indoor golf simulator building. And then an additional covered patio. I don't see the covered patio
May I approach the board?
on this plan. So I'm just trying to get my bearings straight.
May I approach?
Yes, you may.
We don't bite.
Make sure we're on the same page.
That's what I have.
That's the original.
Yes.
Okay, I don't have the new one. I did. If you sent it, I left my packet that was mailed to me at home.
That is fine. Not a problem. You can have this one. Revised plan set.
I gotcha. Thank you.
It shows the building expansion.
Yeah.
The
Cooler.
cooler is a little bit bigger. There's the connection, and then here is where
Okay.
show you the orientation on that.
It
Makes it a
does.
little more clear.
Okay.
It does. You need to see that.
I probably have-
Okay. Do you need to see it?
No, this is like just familiar with the property.
Using about it.
No, I know. I'm looking at this and it's
Yeah.
not adding up in my
Okay.
head. So
Yeah, how's that now?
I am all set.
Okay.
Before that, I just want to say I am in a butter. I'm not going to recuse myself because it's just no bearing
No,
on my property, what
nothing at
happens
all.
there.
Okay. All right. I'm going to close it to the board and I'm going to turn. Is there anybody in the audience who would like to speak to this? Either online or physically here?
There's a Kevin
Okay.
Hutchinson online, but I don't know.
Then I will close it to the public and I'll entertain a vote to accept it.
I'll make a motion that we approve planning board case 23-04, amended site plan review.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So be it. And I believe you had you wanted to bring up something else too, Jerry?
You want to bring something else up, Jerry, or you're all set?
Yes, I left it in the car.
Oh.
The rendition. If you want to excuse me, I'll make the trip and then I'll come back.
Okay.
And I'll fill in wherever you want me to.
Okay, and we'll go on with the other cases and then
Yeah, that's
we'll
why I'm.
till the end.
I
We'll
forgot
wait.
it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, the next case is site plan review for Colbia Enterprises, Inc., 63 Laconia Road. It's an amended site plan review regarding the condition number 1 from the October 14th, 2023 approval, which states that we need a receipt of all local, state, and federal permits. I know there are 2 outstanding permits. There's the driveway permit from DOT, and there's a sewer connection permit from DES. And also, I believe there's a bond to be posted and that hasn't been posted yet.
We just received the amount yesterday or the day before, so we will post it before any plans are signed.
Okay.
That depends on the outcome of tonight as well.
Okay. Would you like to give us an update on
Sure.
the situation with those 2 outstanding?
Well, good evening. My name is Chris Rice with TF Moran. I'm here on behalf of the owner and applicant, Colbia Enterprises LLC. With me tonight is John Bisson from Cronin, Bisson and Zielinski. They've been legal representation throughout the process. As you know, we received approval for a redo of the Shell station next to the Tilton Diner back in October. We had a couple conditions of approval. The first one is receipt of all local and state and federal permits. And so, as you mentioned, there's 2 permits outstanding. One is the DES sewer permit. We've been in contact with them based on our correspondence as late as today. We expect that permit to be in hand in about a week. So that one should not be an issue at all. The DOT driveway permit is taking a little bit longer than expected due to some unforeseen circumstances. When we first coordinated with DOT, we were asked to submit a trip generation memo, which we did. That person then retired. Somebody else took over. They asked for some traffic counts and a new trip memo, which we provided. And then after that, they asked for a full traffic study. So we have prepared that and supplied it. It's in their stack for review, but they have a little bit of a backlog. So we're requesting, if it's acceptable to the board, if the owner could have the option to start construction without that state permit in hand, if we could revise condition number 1 to be that prior to a certificate of occupancy, all state permits would have to be in hand. We expect to get our driveway permit. We just think it's going to take a little bit of time because of the review process and the backlog. We will post the surety bond and all the other conditions have been met. We have a review letter from the town review engineer, Steve Keach, that we've addressed all town engineering review comments. And the only other condition was a couple copies of the plan and a note that the plan and approval is good for 5 years. The reason we're doing this is because they have to be within a certain construction window to guarantee they finish before winter conditions. So if we don't start within the next month or so, the project will be put off for a year or 2. They already have a full slate next year, so it could be pushed off about 2 years, and then we'd have to come back to the board for extensions and to the ZBA for extensions. So we're just, if it's the pleasure of the board, we'd like to ask that one condition be revised if possible.
I'll turn it over to the board for discussion.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking for that to be revised so you can start the project?
I'm sorry?
You want us to waive or whatever that, the DOT permit so you can start your project?
Correct.
But yet our zoning, it's a requirement for a certificate of occupancy.
We're asking to just switch the wording of the conditions so that the state permit is required before they receive a certificate of occupancy as opposed to before plan
Well,
signature.
what I'm saying is that's in our zoning. That's what our zoning says. It doesn't say you need it before you start the project. So I guess I'm a little confused.
It's the way that the condition of approval reads, and my understanding
Yeah, that's
is that in order to have the plan signed by the planning board, we have to address all the conditions of approval, which
That's-
includes the
That was
state
one of the
permit.
conditions that we had, Catherine, when they came before us the first time.
Oh, you moved it up to, okay.
I have a copy of the
That's a
conditional
first for
approval
me.
if it
No, no,
helps.
that's good. I haven't been on
I
the planning
apologize for
board
any
for about
confusion.
4 years, so.
We've been coordinating with Leanne up to this point. As you know, she's unfortunately no longer here. And then I was coordinating with Jason for a little bit, but unfortunately he's no longer here. So
Sounds like state DOT. Sounds
What's-
like state-
excuse me?
Sounds like state DOT.
again, we're confident we'll obtain the permit. We've been in contact with DOT, but you're in a list of when it's received and they just have a backlog. So.
And it's my understanding they had several projects along Route 3, including the preserve, and that they were working on as well. So
Why did the planning board feel it was necessary to make it a requirement before they started the project?
that's what we'd always done in the past. That was why.
Oh, well, it wasn't when I was on the board 4 years ago.
It hadn't been for the last few years, so.
Oh, okay. I was just as
Okay.
curious because,
And there will be a restoration bond in place should anything go wrong, but we don't anticipate that.
That's really important, I think, because otherwise then it would fall on you and it would be at your own risk
Yes.
if that weren't done. And I would like to read for the record and for the minutes a note from one of the abutters.
Okay.
It says, "Dear Land Use Coordinator, as you may recall, on October 24th, 2023, the Planning Board granted conditional final approval to the subject application. One condition of that approval required that the applicant satisfactorily resolve comments and recommendations offered by this office in a letter report issued October 24th, 2023. This is Stacy Keach Nordstrom, okay? They received a copy of the submittal letter, and a cover letter addressed to the office was prepared by the applicant, and a site plan review was revised. Based upon our careful consideration and review of this latest submittal, we are pleased to report that all comments and recommendations offered in their cited letter have been satisfactorily resolved. So those have all been resolved for the purpose of the planning board. And if you have any we have any other questions, we can talk to them. And then have another one from Stephen Keach again, in which he says you need to install and maintain the erosion sediment controls, site restoration in the event. And he's discussed all these with you? Okay. Contingencies and escalation and total recommended surety bond. So that's what's outstanding with him.
Yes, I received information from Janice on the bond amount and the acceptable forms of the bond.
Okay. All right. Are there any other comments?
Excuse me, Jane. There is a letter from an abutter. Did you read
Well,
that?
I'm looking for that now. You gave it to me when we first. Oh, I had it right here. No, it's not there. Okay. And then there's this letter for the record. Dear Town of Tilton Planning and Code Enforcement, as an abutter to the current proposed redevelopment of the gas station, map 23, lot 8-2, 63 Laconia Road, I have very serious concerns about the ingress/egress onto Route 3 with the additional high traffic that they have proposed with a drive-through for this location. I'm concerned about the impact of the current businesses that use this ingress, egress as well as the safety of the traffic on Route 3. And it's signed by Chris Swanson, Tilton Exit Development. It's in a butter. So I'm reading that into the record. And I think, I know that there is a lot of traffic because Dunkin' Donuts has a drive-through as well. I think the bank has a drive-through. So I'm just throwing that out so you would be
If it,
another drive-through.
if it helps, the drive-through that they have is the Subway, which is not as intense as Dunkin' Donuts or another. It's it's just convenience essentially for a pickup window.
Any other comments from the board?
No, New Hampshire DOT will have to address that.
Okay. Any other comments from the audience? Online? Otherwise, I'm going to close it and I'll entertain a motion to allow them with the condition that they continue to work with DOT and DES to get those permits and that the bond be posted this week.
Well, we don't have to post the bond until they're ready to start,
Yeah,
correct, and get the
yeah.
signature. But we will post it before any construction
Yeah,
takes
okay.
place. Yes.
Sorry about that. All right. Entertain a motion?
So you're looking for a motion to
Mhm.
allow them to proceed
With
without the New Hampshire DOT permit
and the
until
sewer.
it's required for certificate of occupancy.
Yes, that is the request.
I'll second that. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Have a good night.
Okay.
That's for Jerry.
And the next site plan is a site plan review for Francois Pellerin,
I think
GTM Landscape.
he stepped out for a moment. I'm not sure if he had to get something in his car as well or whatever. He did step out for a moment though.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll stop then, Jerry, if you would like to address the board.
You got to step to the microphone.
The microphone, speak into and identify yourself and give your address, please, Jerry.
Basically, I want to talk to the board about what my intent is for the rest of my land out back on the golf course backside. And basically, there's 19 acres. It's I think the zoning is 2 acres per lot. It has no no sewerage and no town water. My intent, what I'm looking for, is twofold. These are just some of the concepts that we're looking at, but it will be on this theme. The reason for my logic is I can get more stay and play, people that want to come up for a week or whatever. Also, it's getting very difficult to get management positions in the golf course. And what I mean by that, assistant groundskeepers, managers for the restaurant. And I'm hoping that to entice more qualified people to basically give them accommodations as far as, in other words, I need something to attract them. So that's what my thoughts are. Twofold is to rent them during the summer for weeks at a time, like say and play, Airbnb or whatever you want to call it, and then also be able to have it for some of my management people. There'll be 2 and 3 bedroom units, and I thought I would present it to the board. Some of the provisions in the ordinance that I read, or the RSAs or whatever you want to call them, they allow for cluster housing on golf courses. It's right in the it's in the thing. So that's basically why I'm here, is just to open this conversation with the town, and then before I start spending a lot of money and I go no place, I'd rather, try to get some sort of a feel for what, the town will allow me to do or accept what I would like to do.
How many units are you talking about, Jerry?
I'm not totally sure, but I would say probably 12 units. They may be, for example, there may be 4, like this one is 4. There might be a 3. There might be a 2. I haven't gone to engineering yet because, like I say, pretty expensive to start with engineering. So again, like I say, I'm just trying to get a feel for the town as far as what my thoughts are. But basically, it'd be about 12 units.
And you would rent them, some you might rent by the month, some by the week. It would vary.
I'm
For how
sorry,
long?
That's okay. Some by the month or some by the week?
more than likely, some would be by the week, some would be by the month. Depends on what people, I would primarily say that it'd be by the month, and the other aspect would be the fact that I need accommodations for some qualified people. It's so hard this far north, and the accommodations around here are so expensive that I have to do something like this to entice them.
I will throw it to the board for discussion.
And you're looking to cluster these? You're looking to cluster these to maximize green space?
I'd like to see what you people would entertain. I think that's what I'm asking.
Okay.
No, she wants to know if you're looking to cluster them together.
Uh, Not necessarily all clustered together, but there would be, depends upon what the engineering company would recommend so that the scheme of things would work. It could be 4 units, it could be 3 units. I don't think that it would be just like one long block of buildings.
Would it be shared septic and shared water?
It would have to be septic and it'd have to be,
All shared, though, the way you would in a cluster housing development.
I haven't just, my thought process would be to try to separate each bill, whatever cluster, 4 units to be kind of separate, but it all depends on the recommendations of whatever the engineering companies feel.
Any other questions?
No.
Um,
She asked if there are any other questions.
I've got a few questions. Have you talked to the local people that are in the hospitality industry to make those accommodations for you, save you a big chunk of change?
I have had a lot of conversations with the new Hilton. They're very interested in doing something with me. But in the same token, I lose out in the fact that I don't have anything for accommodations for my workers.
Well, if they've reached out to you, what were you proposing? And I don't know what your business is, and I don't care. But it was just like if the statement that you said was that they're not accommodating your workers. But isn't that what this proposal is
No,
for?
No, that's
I
not
didn't
what we
say
said.
that. I said that you can't get people. The cost of accommodations up here is very high, as everybody realizes now. What I'm trying to address is the fact that I would have to supplement some sort of, uh, housing for these people, along with renting it by the week.
Housing, Tom.
I mean, there's all kinds of, as you know, the area is growing like leaps and bounds, and I don't think my people want to pay $600 a night, or $500 or $400 to, to stay and play. is what they're proposing right now.
I know. But never mind.
Eric, any questions?
I don't mind criticism and I don't mind, input. It's a pretty good venture. I mean, money wise, but as a businessman, I think it's successful. Especially it fits into my niche of what we have here.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I mean, I understand it. It's a similar concept to what one of your competitions further to north is kind of doing. They've added some housing.
Well, that's the other thing. Owl's Nest has all kinds of.
Well, I was trying not to name names, but
Huh?
I was trying to avoid naming names. But there's to the north, there, as you just said,
Yeah.
Owl's Nest.
Yeah.
They have,
And they're
they're
doing
huge.
more. They're doing more up there at White Mountain.
Yeah, and they no, I understand what you're trying to do.
Louder.
Oh, sorry. I understand what you're trying to do with bringing in housing. So it's really twofold. You're bringing housing in for employees, and then you're also looking for, I'm going to use that ugly word, short-term rentals, to attract business for people that maybe don't want to stay in a hotel, where they want to stay in a fully furnished house. You might want to get, you might get 8 guys that want to come up for a golfing weekend, and they rather come stay in a house, or maybe come up,
That's exactly.
So
Yeah.
I understand what you're trying to do. It's an interesting concept. I don't know. I'd have to see more, but I think it's an interesting concept of use of the space.
And we do have cluster housing in another area in Tilton.
It's
So
allowed in that.
so
Yeah.
that would not be an issue. So I would think that it would be to your benefit to look more clear, and when you have much more specific plans, then come back to us.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay, sounds good. Thank you
But
very much.
I would not say it's a no for us, would you? Except
No,
worth
so far
pursuing.
what he's proposing is
Yeah.
allowed.
Where's my
The
charter?
density would be the
Yeah.
question.
Looking for the chart of permitted uses.
Unless it's clustered.
There it is.
Okay, the next, to get back to our, thank you, Jerry. And thank you for your patience he had asked if he could come in and discuss that, and I thought it was appropriate that we let him do that. The next is Francois Pellerin, GTM Landscaping, 142 East Main Street, in the general commercial. And it's a site plan review for replacement of a temporary green shelter with a permanent one, 20 by 20 by 12 shed. And I think now, if you're aware of the property, it's like a tent, and he wants to replace that. So if you, Francois, if you would like to address us.
How you doing, guys?
Good.
Hi. Yeah. So essentially, we had a almost like a tarp type of sheltered shed, and keeps getting destroyed due to wind. They're not meant for anything. We had it. Snow loads on that is very weak. We had it on the same side that I'm proposing to put this. I want to put a concrete slab down, and then stick built a 20 by 20, 12 feet high elevation will be the final number at the end. Yeah, 20 by 20 by 12 at the ridge. Yeah. I know this space over here, it's green space now. So yes, I'm looking to get that, turn that into like a shed, which I feel like this is going to help the cause from other meetings and concerns we had about that same area where I was asked if I could put some arborvitaes in on that curve. This will act like a screen as well for the trailers that I have on site. Will, give it more of that, say, residential feel on that curve. And so I think that with some arborvitaes, I think it would look really nice. And it helps the cause of, he wasn't a butter, but he was up that road on Morrison Ave, and he asked if I could do that. I said, no problem.
Okay.
So that's all I'm looking to accomplish.
Okay. And we have, I'm sorry, I didn't realize we had an application, because he had just been in here 2 weeks ago, so if we can look at his application, I'll make a motion to move it to the floor for
Where's the
discussion.
application?
And I reviewed it this afternoon, I think.
Did I miss it?
Here.
Out of my packet.
Mhm.
And you know what we're talking about. That-
Yeah, I know where it
oh,
is. Yeah.
Here it is. I wanna see. I think it's complete.
Mhm.
Somebody's not writing. So basically, you're just replacing what you have with this.
What I had, we already removed it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, because it got
Okay.
destroyed. It's like every 2 years, these things just, let go.
I make a motion to accept the application as complete. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right, sorry about that. And any other comments on the planning board?
So the previous structure was used to store salt.
No.
Oh, it's just to the left of it.
Yes. I thought I drew it on a plan.
I saw it and I just
So the salt shed, that's
That's
one
still there.
separate entity. That's
Okay.
there. That's
so
all
if
set.
you're looking from Route 3, if you're looking down from Route 3, so you have the salt. It'll be to the left of that, between that and Morrison Avenue, in a way.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, if you were looking at the sign up by the road
Yep.
and you're looking at that lawn stretch down,
Yep.
it would be right there on the left. It's within the setbacks. It's 20 feet from the sides, back and rear, but I'm abutting, that neighbor right there on Morrison Ave. And I believe I think nothing had to be sent out to the neighbors, the abutters, right? Did we do that for this? We did. So, and I talked with him too, and I just to get a feel from him, and he was like, absolutely, that would actually make sense. You know what I mean? He was all for it. You know what I mean? I know it's up to you guys, in the end, but I'm just saying I've had conversations about that spot.
Any question?
Yeah.
Okay, on the board?
Tom has.
Tom?
Yeah, I just got a couple of questions. This is not going to be for storage of anything that's flammable or salt or anything like that?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I mean, sorry, we might put like a snow blower in there. We empty it before the end of the year. We empty all the lines and we store it. We might put a snow blower in that shed, but not like, we're not storing gas cans. I'm not storing oil, nothing like that.
Yeah, that would be my concern is there's nothing flammable
No,
or explosion, or salt or anything like that.
no hand tools,
Yeah. Yeah.
things like that.
Now, I see a sketch here of the building itself.
Yeah.
And is there a passage door for this building?
My thought was it was either going to be that garage door in the front, or I was going to do a little barn door, like probably a 6 foot wide barn door, just to swing open so you can walk in and out.
Yeah, I think that should be part of it because in case that door gets open, somebody has
With
to escape
passenger.
an emergency.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
3068 door, something like that.
Yeah.
Now something that just can be secured.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I know most garages in most towns, you have to have a passage door in them
To get in and out.
to get in and out. Yeah.
I know, like some sheds, like, cause I built a couple before, and we've also done just a one door. It's 2 doors, you can get in and out, but I'll be more than happy if that's what you guys require to throw another door in there. No problem. Sure.
I'll check with the fire department.
Yeah. Okay.
Anything else? Is there anyone online who has any comments or questions? Okay.
Are you electrifying this building?
I am gonna say right now that is not my intention to do that at all. Just for storage. Down the road, I might talk to you guys, maybe, but I don't see why I would need to. I'm not looking to do anything in there other than store stuff and not have a roof fail on me like it has in the past. That's all.
I was just thinking more on the lines of outside lights.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, you mean adding more? Is that what you mean? Yeah, with that area, because of the residential, the home,
Yeah,
I would be concerned about illuminating it and maybe offending my neighbor. So we try to, the way we have them set up is it's like they're aimed away from neighbors, aiming down. So it's not illuminating his side of the yard or anything. You know what I mean? I don't want to add a spotlight to him.
Thank you.
you read my mind. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this sketch from the previous meeting, and I'm wondering how that building with the 20-foot setback, the building itself is 20 feet, right?
Mhm.
It's going to fit in there. Because according to this section, you've got 90 feet to the eastern edge of your building. Then you're going to have another 40 feet, right? With just the building. And I'm not even allowing a space between the, because the building is going in here,
I
correct?
approach. Yeah, you're good.
You can approach.
Okay. I see.
So according to this, your building is going right about in here.
This
And it's
is a
going
bad layout. This drawing isn't to specs. My apologies. That's green space. You see it straight there. So that was like
Okay.
current. And we're just essentially, looking to put it there. And I'm 20 feet off this property line with the backside of the shed.
Okay.
This might help you.
Nope, I just moved this.
No, I've got this.
I'm
I was
curved
just,
a
I
little
was
off
going
on the
by
lawn
this. I
area.
didn't realize it was not to scale.
Okay.
But thank you. It's almost up then.
Thank you for your concern about your neighbors too, so.
Of course.
Appreciate it.
Any other questions? Gonna close it. Return to the board. No, any more discussion?
Mm-mm.
I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
I was trying to name the case, but it's not. There's no case number.
PB
Oh, wait, I'm
24-3.
Yeah, sorry, I was looking at the wrong case. Planning board case 24-03.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you. You guys have a good night.
You do the same. I was jumping ahead just to see what else was on the backside.
All right, the next is a driveway permit for Raymond McMahon for MDR Rehab and Development LLC, 11 Maple Court, Village Residential. This was one where there was a repaving of an existing driveway and a discussion concerning the repavement in kind of a previously existing driveway. There are several things of concern here. First of all, there was a cease and desist that was issued by the planning board that still exists. Nothing was ever done to remove that. Number two, there was no certificate of occupancy issued on that. The property has been sold. Someone is living in the property
Without a certificate of
without a
occupancy.
certificate of occupancy. According to according to Chuck, there's nothing we can do about that. The issue there is if something were to happen, the homeowner is automatically responsible. If there was a fire or anything like that, it becomes the burden of the homeowner. There's absolutely nothing we can do if there's no certificate of occupancy issued. So I'm going by what we were told by our code enforcement officer. Is that correct, Janice? Okay. So, number one, we need to discuss this, decide what we can do, if anything. What occurred was there was a period of time when we had a land use coordinator who had been hired. The land use coordinator, along with, I believe, the head of the Department of Public Works, went onto the premises with the owner and made recommendations for what could be done to resolve the issues of flooding the adjacent property. This was without the knowledge of the planning board. The abutter was never discussed with the abutter. So that's the situation we're stuck with right now. What we need to do is, I guess, first open it up for discussion, and then see if there's anyone in the audience who wants to participate or comment. How does the board feel about this?
So you have a driveway
Mm-hmm.
that came in as an application for a repave,
Mhm.
and it wasn't a repave, it was a reconstruction.
Correct.
Cease and desist was issued. The planning board has hearsay knowledge of some remedial action that might have been taken.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Well, I know, as I say, there's several issues that need to be addressed, and I'm not sure. That's why I said
I'm not
we need to
chuckling because
discuss
I
it,
think
because
it's funny.
not sure how
It's
to.
wow.
Mhm.
I'm with you. I'm not sure how to iron this out. So
And I don't believe, I had hoped that the town administrator would be here who could tell us whether there was any documentation left. Janice, you've been able to find no documentation, have you?
I don't have any documentation, but I have an understanding, I think, of what was done there. Apparently, they added crushed stone on both sides of the driveway. They added a dry well, which apparently was so that the water could go into the dry well, or a good majority of it would go into the dry well and be slowed down for absorption into the ground. And they said they cleaned around the edges, so the water coming off the hill would be slowed down as well. Apparently, they added some crushed stone there, and so that would slow it down enough so that it would be absorbed into the soil. That's my understanding of what was done on site
Okay.
for the driveway.
All right.
Apparently, that's what I was told is that was what the meeting with Shane and Jason was about. And the previous owner now did say that he did complete those tasks and felt as though, he was all set.
I noticed that the previous owner has joined us online. Ray, would you like to say anything about what you did?
Well, pretty much what Janice has mentioned is what we did, and that's what was discussed when I met with, is it
Jason and Shane.
Jason and
Jason
Shane?
and
Okay.
Shane? And we did it we did it the same week. When I talked to him, I believe on a Tuesday, it was completed by the end of the week. It appears to be working well. The water hits the crushed stone and it does not go much further unless we have an extremely heavy downpour, then it might, which we can't control. But I think we've done everything that they've asked, and I'm not sure what else the town would want us to do.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to close it to the planning board for now and turn it over to see if there are any comments from the audience. Please go to the microphone, identify yourself, and
Pat Constantino, one of the abutters. Unfortunately, this has been mishandled right from the get-go. I agree with Mr. McMahon that a good portion of it has been remedied, although the process has been by both the town of Tilton and the planning board has been my source of agony. Uh, there is, there was a ditch placed on the left-hand side of the new driveway, and crushed rock was placed. Unfortunately, the plow has taken most of what is about 3 or 4 feet upwards of, at the end of 11 Maple Court, at the end of Maple Court, I should say, where they have to plow back on the land, his property, by the way, has taken most of that crushed rock away. It doesn't affect the flow of the water at that end of it too much. They never spoke with us. We have videos. We have. It's taken a good portion of the water, but it seems since they did not create, there were 2 driveways originally, and the water came off of both the long driveway and the driveway that Mrs. Bridges' son used to park in. The water came off the roof and it came down just in front of their cellarway. And because it was all broken up, and it used to just seep into the ground there. But since they reconstructed the driveway and just left that ledge pack, it just seems to come down, flow over the ledge pack and come down onto what we call our driveway. There was significant amount of work done by Mr. McMahon. I will give him credit for that. I would like to have, if I had been spoken to, seen a little bit of work right there so that there would be some type of drainage right in front there so it doesn't come onto my property. But it does still come down on my property. Back in November, I went to the Board of Selectmen. I couldn't address it to the planning board because at that time I didn't really know how to do that here. It was a repave. I had to wait for you folks to come. And then at the meeting that I was here, I was accused of some wrongdoing and abuse of my power as a selectman. And that wasn't the case at all. We just don't want to be every hour pumping out our cellar. We do have new neighbors. They're very, very nice. We do anything we can in our power to help out. But we did go back to the selectmen and ask them to help us out with this problem because it was a reconstruction, not a repavement. We've been battling with this since back in November, and all of a sudden when the cease and desist was given to you, we said, okay, no work is going to be done until all parties come together and agree that this is what can be done in a resolve. After all, that's what parties usually do, and that's not what happened. Lawyers met, town met, people met with different people, and we weren't involved in any of that discussion whatsoever. And I did get a phone call from the town administrator saying it's a civil matter. So, I need to be told by the planning board, is it a civil matter? Is it not a civil matter? Because, I do have legal counsel. So I want to know, we can easily resolve this if we can put the necessary drainage in it. I don't want to go any further than I'm not an evil person. I just really want this resolved. It's an issue with water coming onto our property. The building is up, people are living in it, but there's water coming onto our property. We've lived there for 40 years. Kim has lived there for 41 years. We've never had this issue. So, they do a new driveway and we have this issue. So there's only one common denominator here. So I'm asking the board, as I did the Board of Selectmen, for some help here. I only have one other alternative. And as a resident in the town of Tilton, I really don't want to go that route.
Board, how do you feel?
Well, the planning board has a responsibility to make sure the driveways go in according to our driveway ordinance, which does state that water from that driveway will not go onto someone else's property. So I'm not sure what the next step is. I would guess that we need to go forward and look at the driveway, meet at the driveway. I don't know. And I'm not a driveway expert,
I'm not a driveway expert either.
but if there's, water now coming from that driveway onto an abutter's property, it's our responsibility to make sure that doesn't happen. And I don't believe we're going to prevent all water flowing off that driveway. We're not gonna be able to channel it all.
Nothing would do that.
Well, major engineering might.
Well,
Yeah.
At some point, if the water or sewer does an upgrade on that road, they could potentially put in a storm drain at the end to help with, water runoff and pooling, but obviously not a short-term solution by any means.
Would it be possible to ask the now previous owner, what would it take to just put a drain in front, a simple drain like he did up at the top of the driveway in front of where the cellar place is, so that it doesn't come down onto the, when it comes off the roof, it doesn't come down over the other driveway where it just has ledge pack. I think that would be the fix.
put a ditch there.
Well, with the rock,
With
like he did at
crushed
the
rock?
top, like he did at the top of the asphalt driveway.
Mr. Hutchinson? Hmm?
It's McMahon.
Oh, I'm sorry. Why am I, there's Kevin Hutchinson's up there, that's why. Sorry. Sorry, Mr. McMahon.
All right.
Would you be able to do that, sir?
Well, the driveway was constructed the way it was, same size driveway, and the water does not drain. It drains down the driveway, but the driveway tilts away from the house. But once it hits the street, it does go towards that house because the street leans that way. There's no other way. If we did crushed stone, we did a dry well. On the other, if we did one in front of the house, there's no hot top there. The water is gonna go in the ground. There's nowhere else for it to go. It goes in the ground till the ground won't absorb it anymore. Then it's gonna run downhill.
May I answer, Jane? Madam Chair?
Yes.
Raymond, we're not talking about the asphalt driveway?
Right, you're talking about the driveway that used to be, the turnaround that used to be in front of the house.
Correct. When we have a lot of water, not
Right. But
mild
when that
water.
driveway was there, adding more hot top will only allow the water to run, more water would run down towards your house.
Maria, I don't think she's talking, I think.
I'm not asking to asphalt it. What I'm asking for is, when you ditched it at the top of the asphalted one,
Right. Yes,
You ditched it and put some crushed stone in there or some
right,
stone.
yeah.
If you did that in front of where the door is to go to the basement,
Hmm.
that would that would allow the water coming off of the porch, the roof, the porch, to hit that and go down. Right now, what in a rainfall, it comes right over the ledge pack, and it doesn't go over the driveway. It goes over the ledge pack driveway and comes at the corner and down by where my tenant parks. So it doesn't even hit the
The ledge
asphalt
pack,
driveway.
the ledge pack driveway will absorb water. It's not hot top.
Well, it
Adding crushed stone will it divert water a little bit? Maybe a little bit, but when it comes down that hill, I don't think it's going to divert any more water than it ever did. It's just, it goes downhill. It won't go uphill. The water has to go downhill.
I don't know what the answer is then. I was trying to fix it. Make
Point
When
of
we
them,
spoke
information,
with the
Madam
highway,
Chair.
when we spoke with the highway department, they agreed what we did was pretty much as we could do. And it wouldn't change, I'm sure it helped a little bit because the crushed stone, maybe the water gets trapped in the crushed stone and it sinks into the ground a little bit. But they said that's probably all we could do.
in all fairness, the day that they went out there was a bright sunny day and had been for a couple of days. Nobody has been out there on a rainy, pouring day except us and coming down the driveway.
Yeah, I'm just a point of information, if I could. Is there any RSA preventing a property owner from draining his property on someone else's property?
Yes.
Yes.
Is there an RSA that prevents a municipality from draining their property onto private land?
Good question.
Seems to me we have a legal as well as as well as a civil going on here. I would be against anybody draining their property, draining their water runoff onto public property, which would be the road, which can freeze and cause any kind of mayhem going up as for transport of motor vehicles or people.
Our
So I've
drive,
never been there. I was not consulted about this meeting. I was never there. I was never asked to be there. But it raises a lot of questions. And the questions are RSAs. If RSAs are involved, then it's not a civil case.
our driveway application is very specific about not having runoff from a driveway onto an abutting property, and that would include the town road.
Okay, so that has to be adhered to. That's as simple as that.
So how do we
And
get
if
there?
we could get the RSA number,
We have all of that. I mean,
oh, we do? Okay.
yeah. Um,
So we have to enforce that.
I guess how do we enforce it? That's what our quandary is.
Well, I think a good point was made that um, it hasn't been, no one has been there, planning board, public
Oh.
works director, during a rain event.
Well, we weren't there at all. Different times, the land use person was there,
Mm-hmm.
and the town highway people were there,
What was the
and
planning board members there?
and there were planning board members there. But not as we haven't done a site walk as a group when it's raining, and I guess that's what we need to do.
That's what we need to do.
Make it rain on Tuesday,
Hmm?
Well, we're
preferably
supposed to have light
the
showers
second or the
You
fourth
know,
Tuesday of the month.
from Wednesday to Saturday, but
Madam Chair, it would be helpful, in my opinion, to have a civil engineer accompany us. Somebody that knows. I mean, I've been in construction for
Going to pay for that?
25 years. I know water flows downhill. Anybody knows that. Well,
Select board
except for a
meeting
few
Thursday night.
DOT engineers.
Finance paper.
But it all depends on how much rain you get at a certain event, how much rain you don't get, or water that freezes. I mean, water freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit. That's it. And it can freeze pretty fast if it's got 12 hours to do it over in a nighttime. And it can cause some serious problems. And I think it's beyond the scope of civilians here to say, well, if we pitch it this way, it's going to go that way. If we pitch it that way, it's going to go this way. And how deep is this? How deep does this trench have to be with the rock in it in order to let this water flow in an event that's would be normal? This is not our expertise. We can go there and look at it, take pictures. I can bring a spirit level. We can measure where the pitch is. Uh, it's just data that doesn't work. We have to have some kind of a.
Well, I think what we have to do is go to the selectmen first and see if they're willing to pay for having a civil engineer look at it, if that's what we think we need. I went to the selectmen early on and requested that we get some help with somebody who could advise us on driveways, but we didn't get an answer to that. Remember when I came and requested that we have someone?
We have an engineer that the town uses, don't we? Keach Nordstrom?
I don't know whether he's a civil engineer or not.
As an engineer.
Civil engineering, land
I do
surveying, landscape
Okay.
architecture.
I do remember that, Jane.
Okay.
I couldn't answer you
I
on
know,
I think
that.
that
but
was
I
non-public,
requested
wasn't it?
that.
What's that?
Wasn't that non-public?
Oh,
Yep.
I have a question. Sadly, I live in the neighborhood and I don't know the answer. Was Maple Court recently repaved?
No, next year.
Next
They held
Oh,
off
I
for
know
the,
that they did I know they did Spruce, and I wasn't sure if they did that. Never mind
they
that.
held it off for this project. There
Uh,
was a question, if you remember, Fred was going to build a 2 to 4 unit. They were going to hold it off if there was any drainage needed. And there was a question about the sewer. You know, sewer goes from Cedar, under Poplar, under my house, up to 11 Maple Court. And the sewer commissioners, just as a side note, say it's privately owned and it should be public. No comment, Catherine. So we're fighting that one too, because it should be public, because we have 3 people on it. And so if it fails, who owns it, right? So it goes literally in my cellar up to the next house, the sewer. And it has been for about 80 years, maybe. Is it 80 years?
I
Yeah.
think so.
So that's the sewer issue up there.
Do they have an easement?
Nope.
So,
well, we're not settling this area with
No.
that.
so I think we have two options here. I think we need to either A, get legal advice, or B,
We got legal advice,
and
but
or,
we need to have the legal person represent us.
well, we need to have the town attorney or someone with an expertise in this represent us, or get a civil engineer. No offense to anyone, as Tom just said, none of
I
us
think we
are
need to do both.
civil engineers.
Right. Neither
No.
am I. So
And neither am I.
Because I know land shifts sometimes. I mean, when they repaved High Street, I get more water than ever in my driveway, and I just deal with it. Doesn't go into my basement, so it's a little different.
I,
But I mean, I look at a picture here. There was a driveway there,
mhm.
and I'm confuddled. I'm gonna make that a word. Confuddled, CONFUDDLED, about if they put I think you said ledge pack on that little there, and it's not doing that. The only other thing I can think of is that we've gone through the winter season where the ground is frozen and not as absorbent as it would be, say, from here through, we'll say Columbus Day, because you never know when the ground's going to freeze around here. And, okay, do just sit and wait and watch it for a year. I don't think that's wise, but they have people that can figure that stuff out.
Yeah, and that's why I think that maybe an engineer will be able to help us. So I will issue that request again, which,
I think we have to make a motion. So I will make a motion that we request this to the Board of Selectmen that we hire a civil engineer to help us with this issue.
and you want to add, uh, counsel?
And also legal counsel.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Catherine, could you take that back to the Selectmen?
I can, my question is, do we want to come first? Legal or civil engineer?
Well, what came first, the cart or the horse? Chicken or the egg?
I would recommend legal. I would assume
That's
that
what,
might be the most cost-effective path.
To see what our options are before we hire civil and,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I specifically would like to know which RSAs are impacted and what powers we have as a body to correct it, and whether or not, because I don't know, maybe it could potentially be a state thing as far as a drainage issue, or if it is a legal issue as far as
An act of
easement
God.
or what have you. But I'd feel better having legal counsel look into it and make recommendations.
Okay, so be it.
okay,
Excuse me, Jane. Explain to me, where do we stand on the ceasing?
Yeah, the cease and desist, there's,
I would ask the attorney.
you'll ask the attorney. Okay,
just on our driveway permit, it references RSA. If you want to, anyone who wants to write this down, 236:13-V.
Well, slow down, please. What is it? 236
36.
colon
13
13
V.
dash what?
V as in victory.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And it has to do with driveway permits.
Isn't that the authorization from New Hampshire DOT that allows the town to deal with driveway
Driveways.
permits?
Unanimous.
It was
We haven't
unanimous.
voted yet. We're
Oh.
discussing this.
I thought we did.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, we
We
did.
did,
Okay.
yeah.
Mhm.
On the civil engineer and legal counsel. And then after we voted,
Then we discussed it.
it
Okay.
occurred to me to ask about
Everybody voted for.
which comes first.
Yeah, it's too small for me to read.
Here I can.
Oh, it's the whole RSA. It's driveways and other accesses to public ways.
I have a copy of that, but I don't have it with me. I printed it out.
If I'm hearing the question on RSAs was water onto somebody else's property.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I have it printed out at home, but I didn't bring it with me. Okay.
And that's in our ordinance.
So number one, we're going to request that we be allowed to consult an attorney and a civil engineer on how to correct the situation and on the cease and desist, both. Correct? All right.
I would suggest that the planning board members, if you have questions for the attorneys, get them written down.
Yeah.
We haven't been approved for an attorney yet, so.
Certificate of occupancy enforcement is probably one of them.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mr. McMahon.
Same.
Okay. All right. All right, the next thing on our agenda is a lot merger for Caleb Hill Road. And Mr. Daniels is not present. It's a pretty simple lot merger. He owns both lots and he wants to, one is landlocked and I guess he has it in trust, is that correct? And his attorney advised him to merge the two
Merge the
lots
two lots for trust purposes.
for trust purposes.
They're, if I remember, when I looked it up, they're both backland lots, though,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, it is next.
And does the,
It's 5 and 6, Catherine.
here it is, one that I marked up.
You got it?
Yeah, I'm looking for the one that I marked up. He does own properties that abut, wow, number 5. He owns 4 and 4A. 4 abuts Caleb Hill Road. And it looks like there's an easement along, I guess that would be the western edge of 4A.
It's like a right of way to access lot 5.
So if you merged them, it would be, but I don't see, because that's a brook, unless the bank of the brook is the right of way. But do you see, it doesn't look like that right of way continues to Caleb Hill Road.
Yeah, it runs, the RW runs from where it says 52.51 straight back to where it says Caleb on Caleb Hill Road.
Oh, I see it in this one. You can see the dashed line under the brook. So the brook does form the boundary. Okay,
Yeah.
that was my
Yeah.
biggest question, was right of way to the backland lot.
All right, any questions or comments on it? Problems
Pretty
with it?
straightforward.
That's gonna make lot 7 a landlocked lot too. We're just doing one lot, right? Yeah. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right.
Catherine, did you vote? Yeah, did you say aye? Yeah.
I'm
Thank
reaching pretty loud.
Oh, boy. I'm
Sorry.
going deaf, I think.
Can I sign this?
I think I have an original,
Okay.
so we should. sign the
You have
original.
that, I'll get that over with, because all right. Last but not least, approval of minutes for February 27th,
Actually,
2020.
there's one other business, isn't it, on your agenda?
Other business. We have approval team first.
Oh, sorry.
Hmm?
Sorry, I thought it was, other business was before the approval. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, approval. Okay. Has everybody had an opportunity to review the minutes? I'll make a motion to accept them.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
And one abstention, okay? Next, other business. And I assume you're the other business. This, let me just tell the planning board, this came up at the last minute. I got a call from Janice saying that the gentleman I know has purchased 100 Autumn Drive,
Yes, we have.
and they just want us to meet them and know that they're in town. And I
Correct.
believe you're gonna be the manager for it?
Yep, I'm the CEO of Sobriety
Oh, the
Centers in New
CEO,
Hampshire.
okay.
Correct.
Yep.
And they just wanted to introduce themselves. We have a lot of history about that. I would suggest you read the entire file.
I have.
There was a
Well,
court-
I'd say most of it.
There was a court case, you might want to read that.
Yes.
You also might want to read the conditions of approval for that, because I think it addresses some of the things that you've been talking about, like the number of residents there
Correct.
and a sewer that I understand never got built,
Correct.
never got taken care of, and that was a condition.
Yeah.
And that basically is the last the planning board heard of that was one of the things that needed to be done before anything could move forward.
Correct.
So, welcome to town.
Thank you.
We'll be happy to work with you.
Okay.
I have a lot of memories. I have memories of this whole auditorium being literally filled with people, overflowing crowds of people. Not from Tilton, I might add, but one of the neighboring communities. It was not the Tilton residents.
A couple, but not a lot.
Well, there
Not
was a
many.
couple.
Yeah, not
but,
many though.
Yeah, mostly from our neighbors.
And
With their attorney.
we've had the police department bring us reports. There have not been any. So, I mean, there's a lot of history. Just be sure, read that carefully.
Okay.
And as I say, welcome. If
Okay.
you'd like to have a few words to say.
I'm John Flanagan. I'm the Vice President of Development for Summit Behavioral Health. We're based in Nashville, Tennessee, and we have over 37 treatment centers across the country for substance abuse disorder. The patients that we will treat at this location, our goal is to treat first responders and veterans. Felicia will be overseeing the efforts. What I looked at in the previous meetings was we got 9 beds approved because limited septic system issues and things like that. What we're going to be looking to do is expand that because we know there's a big need out there in this region for veterans and first responders. But I think we'll introduce ourselves to you more officially about our staffing models, nursing staff 7 days a week, physicians overseeing the care, that type of thing. I encourage you to go online, look at Summit Behavioral Health, and you'll get a better understanding of kind of who we are and what we're all about. So my first initiative coming into New Hampshire was to meet with the insurance commissioner. So they were very welcoming and supportive. And we've had conversations with the state regulatory body as well, and they've been very supportive. So the need's out there. We just hope that we can meet the need and serve the community. Felicia, you want to add anything?
Sure. I just introduced myself. My name is Felicia Orchard, so I'm the CEO of Sobriety Centers of New Hampshire. I was born and raised in New Hampshire, lived here all my life. I'm also a person in long-term recovery. So growing our organization is something that's near and dear to my heart. I'm a person who has gone through treatment and come out on the other side of it. And being able to provide that to others is really important to me. Both of my parents are veterans, so being able to support that population is also very important to me. We see a huge need for it, and we want to be able to provide those services in a way that's also respectful of our neighbors and supportive of the community. The models that Summit utilizes and also the other sobriety centers locations utilize include 24/7 staffing, the ability to make sure that we're able to monitor our clients safely so that we're providing safe care for the clients and also safe care for the community. We have a residential facility in Antrim, New Hampshire. We get along very well with our neighbors in Antrim. We're neighbors with the police station. We're very friendly with them there. And we hope to do the same in Tilton and hope to, add value to the community and add value to New Hampshire as a whole as a resource for those who are seeking help. First responders and veterans, historically, there's not a lot of niche treatment centers for them. And it's a different population than needs a typical treatment center, right? The acuity of their needs is a lot higher than those of the general population per se. So we want to be able to provide an opportunity for them to seek the recovery that they want and they deserve in a setting that's supportive. But we want to do that as partners with all of you. So we wanted to introduce ourselves.
Yep. We do have a vendor that's going to do the septic, tie it into the city water and sewage, which I think was promised to you before. So we do have a contractor. If I could approach and just give you guys a copy of that, just so you see.
I don't believe sewer travels up that far.
No, the part of the conditions of approval was to expand to 33 beds, they have to
Yep.
run,
Yep.
but you do have a wetlands crossing that you have to worry about.
Yep.
And there isn't municipal water up there.
There's no municipal water there. It is a
We'll be
well.
doing water up at the same time, is our intention. So we're working with a contractor, preliminary stages. I know
I
when
think
I was
that's
here the
the,
other day,
Mockery Water
looking through the
District.
files and reading some of those
Yeah, and I
extensive
believe
files.
My last conversation with them was they couldn't.
We had spoken with, and I apologize, I'm forgetting what her name is now.
Johanna?
Johanna. I had spoken with Johanna and she outlined the process for me of kind of what steps we need to take. So we're in the initial steps of having an engineered plan created. And then we're going to work with New Hampshire DES and also work with Johanna to kind of start moving those things along. And of course, working with all of you on how we can do that appropriately.
Have you spoken to the Lockmere Water District?
Not yet, but we're assuming that our vendor will. He's local and hopefully he'll know how to navigate everything. He was recommended by Bob Callahan, who was the previous owner of the building.
So you just answered my question. So you own the building?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. I, for more clarification, I was the manager of that facility when it was a sports center.
Oh, okay.
So I designed the obstacle course that's there,
Oh, okay.
the batting cages.
Well, thank you,
They
because
love
it's
it.
amazing.
Pat
And our guys
Atkinson,
love
New
it.
Hampshire, the engineer,
Yes, sir.
Hi, I just,
construction.
how many patients do you attend? What would be your capacity?
Capacity, as it stands right now, we were talking about 30.
That would be our goal.
30.
With the previous.
33, I think.
That
to be
would probably be
exact.
33, okay. What is your staff to patient ratio?
We can send that to you exactly because I gave Felicia the grid. And so, but it's usually one nurse for every 8 to 10 patients, but one clinician, mental health technician per 6 patients. Because when patients come into treatment and they're through detox, that means they're not medically unstable anymore. So once they're through detox, which we're not going to do detox at this location, they will be considered medically stable. They don't require as much nursing medical care.
Okay. My other question was, and I'm sorry I'm having a senior moment, I forgot what the question is. Being the parent of a two-tour combat veteran with 100% PTSD, I know that this is very much needed. We went through a lot with him. He almost lost his life, but he's on the road back. Thanks be to God.
That's right.
That's amazing.
He's one of them. I'm so proud of him.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of him. But are you going to just limit yourself to New Hampshire residents?
No,
You're going to have from out of state?
yeah, we probably will have people come in from
Okay.
the region. Yes.
Okay.
I will say that primarily, so we work with the Manchester VA already, and we also work with neighboring VAs. I will say primarily, we're seeing veterans from the Manchester VA primarily. We'll work with other states as well, but due to location, it makes most sense for
Yeah.
the majority of veterans to come from the
I'm just a great believer of keeping yourself at home. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Just
yeah.
Yeah,
up in your home first.
absolutely.
The
Okay.
thing about the location, though, that the gentleman there that helped design it is we've had VAs from like Massachusetts come and tour it already, and they love it. They're like, oh, we want to refer our people here just because it's got the gymnasium, it's got the obstacle course. So it does offer some real features for veterans, exactly for veterans.
Just a quick question. Security.
Mhm.
Could you just give us a real overview of how is that going to be? You're going to have direct line to first responders. Is there going to be a secure facility or an unsecure facility?
It will be a secure facility, but the patients will all be voluntary. So we won't take any patients that are on a commitment. Any patients that are psychotic, that's exclusionary criteria. They
Okay.
have to want to be there. It's all voluntary.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And then we'll have staff around the clock there.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. and
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Look
Welcome.
forward to working with you. All right, I have only one more thing before we adjourn. But it's leaving, so I'm gonna change this last night.
Well, these fine folks have been sitting here the whole time and we've ignored them so far.
They're just here to observe, right?
Oh, all right. I thought you had something to say.
I met them.
All right. Okay.
I just wanted say that tonight is Janice's last night with us.
Oh,
We are
no.
going to miss you terribly. You have been a real asset
Thank you, Jane.
to the planning board and to the town of Tilton.
Thank you.
Not if we tie her to the chair.
Thank you, John.
Not if we call the police department, put an anklet on your ankle and tie you to the chair.
Yeah.
You can't leave.
And
Strap you to
anybody
the
wants
chair.
to make a motion?
So,
Oh, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Janice, you brought a tear to my eye.
Oh, me
I
too.
know.
I had to end it.
Oh.
Where's your